That's okay.
Excellent. We are on to the flip side of the coin. It really, literally is the Crea turned over, and the flip side of the Crea is the proverb. The proverb. Because it's like the heads and tails of the same coin. They're exactly the same steps. They're precisely the same thing. Crea uses a quote from a specific author. Proverb uses a quote from that great author known as Anonymous. We don't know who wrote it. But the steps are the same, which is really easy for you as a teacher. So the proverb. It's also known as a maxim. Are we there on proverb? Are we getting there? Sorry for the page mix-up. The proverb is known as a maxim. A concise statement that expresses a general truth or opinion derived from observation and experience. The fool speaks, the wise man listens. Proverbs. And we have them in every civilization. Those we don't. Those statements that are very true, that can teach us a lot, that we don't know the author of. So important. So are we finding our page? Pretty much. Miss Joy, where are you, Mrs. Joy? It says, the proverb, it's got a tree. Now we know how our students feel when we hand out things that aren't completely working. Do you have it? It's got a tree? Pretty good? All right. The proverb is known as a maxim. It's a short, pithy statement. Similar in its exposition to the Crea, with the difference that a proverb is indicative of the common wisdom of a culture and has no particular author. Proverbs, similar to the moral of the fable, either exhorts the hearer or reader to a wise action or dissuades them from a foolish action. The steps to amplify or unpack the proverb are these. Number one, we cite the proverb. Number two, we praise the general wisdom of the proverb, because we cannot praise the author like we did for Crea. Number three, we paraphrase the proverb in our own words. Number four, we give a reason the proverb is true. Tell why the proverb was said. Number five, we give a contrast to the proverb. Show how opposite isn't true or can lead to problems. Number six, we give an analogy or a comparison. There it is again. Number seven, we give one or more examples that illustrate the meaning. Number eight, we support the proverb with testimony of the ancients. Number nine, we draw a conclusion, exhorting listeners to heed the proverb. All cultures have their own proverbs. Some examples are, well, obviously, see the book of Proverbs, but avoid those that refer to specific authorship, 29, 30, 31. Do not strive with the man without cause, if he has done you no harm. Proverbs 3:30. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15:1. If you're like me, my mind keeps thinking of Aesop's fables that go with each one of these. You're like, oh, I can use an Aesop's fable right there. It would work really well. Work hard and become a leader, be lazy and never succeed. Proverbs 12:24. Ancient Roman, Greek and Roman, where there is spirit, there is song. It is better to suffer an injustice than to do an injustice. And I think I have a student example of that following. The deepest rivers flow with the least sound. medieval and Renaissance, love is the honey that the heart desires. He who does someone else's trade makes soup in a basket. Do the trade God's called you to do. God shapes the back to the burden. Early American. A small house will hold as much happiness as a big one. Take care of your pennies, and the dollars will take care of themselves. Any fool can make money, but it takes a wise man to keep it. Frugalitas. The benefits of the Proverb stage. As with the Crea, it teaches students to present an argument in a logical, orderly way. It promotes cultural literacy by making common proverbs part of the student's store of wisdom. It introduces students to different cultures as they learn the proverbs of other nationalities. It promotes synthesis as students compare proverbs with biblical wisdom and the messages of great literature. This example of the proverb that follows is from BYU Rhetorica. It's a really good site, just giving a general overview of the Progymnasmata, and at the end of your workbook you'll find it listed. Okay, so it is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Proverbs 21:9. One can amplify it using the steps mentioned above as follows. Solomon, that paragon of wisdom, did indeed show his acumen when he stated in Proverbs that it would be better to live in a tiny and insignificant dwelling than to have a mansion and share it with a cantankerous wife. A man of so many wives must have known this from experience, and yet he gave this proverb as a caution to both wives and their husbands and for their mutual benefit. It is indeed better to have domestic harmony than to have that discord that comes when one spouse rails against the other. Living with a nagging, brawling wife is like living with the TV forever turned to Rush Limbaugh on a cranky day. Pretty good example, right? For example, I knew of one man of great potential for public office who won over every constituency except that at his house there, where his wife seemed to have an inordinate power of veto. None of his legislation ever came passed. He became so discouraged that he gave up his political ambitions and now sweeps floors at Taco Bell. Experts in family science, just when you're the agents, I would think, have cautioned us to maintain peace in the home. We cannot hope to follow these experts or the older and wisest Solomon if we do not take the advice of the latter and so avoid the unhappy scene described by the former. Did we get all our steps? Did we cite the proverb? I think so. Did we praise the wisdom of the proverb itself? Because it was Solomon. Yeah. I guess he could have said a wise man. I like that he brought in Solomon's wives. So it could be debated if Solomon really wrote that or not. I'd have to look it up. He could have said many ancient kings had many wives, but he did list Solomon. You're exactly right. Wow, that's BYU. They should know. Other steps? He does restate it in his own words. It is indeed better to have domestic, and then he states it from the other way, to have domestic harmony than to have that discord that comes when one spouse rails against the other. What's the Rush Limbaugh example? You know, I think it is analogy. I was thinking it was an example, but I think that it is having him turned on. Because it's not just him, it's the act of having him turned on a cranky day.
Yeah, to make that comparison. Testimony of the ancients. Because he uses the example of the man now sweeping floors at Taco Bell. What would it be? Right. Right. So not really, but you're getting the idea. We're going to keep on going forward. Lesson plans. Again, teaching inductive reasoning, practicing persuasive writing. I do a lot of this in front of the class. We work together. Storehouse of power, useful proverbs. Sometimes I'll write them on the board and say, ooh, do you want to put this one in your copybook? Just so that I'm providing some for them, as well as literature and history. Preparatory activities, so they understand why Proverbs are there, that they are there for every civilization. Okay. Again, in the direct instruction, contrasts, analogies, describe it and discuss it again. Example, suggestions. Okay. Under guided practice, again, provide them with some so they don't have to go looking for them. That eats up so much time during your class time hour, and you don't want that. So you have them. They could choose. They could vote. Those who come to an earlier decision could get first choice, etc., second, third. They could draw straws. But don't give them a lot of time to be looking. Kind of assign one and go from there. Independent practice. Most writers have watched a proverb being modeled by a teacher, participated in a cooperative group effort, they're ready to write their own, and then proceed 1 to 2 steps at a time. They are covering charted ground, since it is so much like the prayer. Let's go down to the next one, example for proverb. There's a basket around it. Be sure to choose a proverb that's instructive and demonstrates a moral purpose. The writer should make sure the proverb will answer the requirements of all steps. So they have to think it through sometimes. But sometimes they will sail into it and get through the 3rd step and think, this doesn't really work. After a while, their minds will really start thinking, oh, there's that Aesop's fable of, and they really will start putting it together, but not at first. That's okay. He who does someone else's trade makes soup in a basket. This is actually out of The Agony and the Ecstasy by Irving Stone, which was taking a historical fiction look at Michelangelo. And it was well said in Florence during those days. So, praise of the proverb.